Black Me Up podcast, everybody. We are back with another incredible guest. We ended off last week with a great guest, Princessa from the NFT space, and she's a creative curator, and she just literally, she does everything, just like we talked about, right?
Yeah.
And I really wanted to get this person in front of you guys because not only have they inspired me and motivated me in my journey through the creative space, but they're doing amazing things. So baby, can you please introduce yourself?
Oh my goodness. First of all, thank you. Wow. Okay. My name is Art Acrobat. You call me Art for short. I am a visual artist first and foremost, and I am excited to be here. Thank you both for having me.
Of course.
No, we're literally so excited. And one of the questions that I wanted to dive in first, because first off, your profile intrigued the heck out of me. And
really? Which part? Wait, on Twitter?
On Twitter, yes, your Twitter profile. You said that you were making art for melanated sovereign women, and I would love to hear how you plan to do so and the different forms of art that you utilize.
I hear that, oh, really? And how so?
Right?
Well, that I change my bio often because I'm constantly wanting to distill my elevator pitch or my spiel, so that if somebody asks me, on the drop of a hat, I can say, this is what I stand for, this is what I believe. And so all of these things have been swirling in my mind in terms of where the world is today. And I feel like I need to get myself together. Like I say to myself, you need to tighten up. There are certain things in my life that if the government didn't give to me, I may be, not experiencing a life that I want. If a friend doesn't do something for me, so I just want a life where I have choices and options. And, I am self-sufficient, not to say I don't need anybody, but I have choices. And it gets bigger than that because I really do feel like Black women, brown women are the past, present, and future, and the world depends on us to be on our A game. And I think, I understand why we may not be, but it's time to get over that, I believe. And so that's what my imagery is going to be about. Suggestions, strong suggestions, as I reach my own sovereignty on how we can get back on top of this thing.
There you go. That was beautifully put. Do you do paintings and collages, or what all do you do? I would love to know. We would love to know.
Yeah, thank you. So I went to college at UNCG, which is University of North Carolina in Greensboro.
Hey, shout out.
Yes, thank you. Go Spartans. And also, a kind shout out to the Aggies. So
took me a second. I'm done.
No shade. So I learned a lot. So I was a studio art major, which was looked down upon at that time. At that time, everyone was like, oh, you need to have a concentration. You need to only do painting. You need to only do drawing. No one is going to look at you professionally if you have a BS and blah, blah, blah. Oh,
really?
Yeah. I'm talking, actually, you know what? In case they are listening, I'll be as diplomatic as I can be. What I am saying is that years ago, the foresight was not there to give me the tutelage to say, you know what, do your thing. That's what I'll say. Long story short, I work in a myriad of things. So painting, collage, drawing. I do know how to weld. I would love to get back into that. So sculpture. I mean, any and everything. Like I truly am a visual artist and I'm curious. So if I feel like an idea will look good in candle wax, I will do it.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
But my main love is collage and incorporating drawing and acrylic paint on top of it or next to it.
So I have a question about collages because I've always been super intrigued with collages. How do you necessarily do your collages? Because for me, I'm like, cut up some magazines, put some stuff on a poster paper, or is it more intricate than that? Or can people start getting into collages just like that?
You know what? They can get started just like that. And I have proof. I literally had a vision board party. It was my third one on last Friday. And I mean that, like, you literally can just get some magazines. It doesn't even have to be magazines. Now we've got Pinterest. When I first started doing this, there was no Pinterest.
Yeah.
So you can, even if you're just over the course of like a month, let's say, you're picking images that you like, and then you can print them out and assemble them in whatever direction, orientation that you want. There is literally no rules. I think what you are seeing when you see like collages that really speak to you, that person understands composition and color, and that is the difference. I've been studying this. That's the only reason why. If you had studied, yours would be just as like visually striking, but in terms of being able to make a collage, anyone can do it.
Wow.
Yeah. That makes me wonder. So when it comes to your collages specifically, are you the type to make a piece for other people to be interested, or are you just creating based on how you are in that moment of life?
It's a you know what? It's a mix. It's a mix of a couple of things working in tandem. Sometimes I have no idea what's going to come out. It's really, this is where things get a little bit spiritual is the quickest way I can say it. But sometimes it's like channeling, not to get too woo-woo, but it is like channeling.
Like I feel it.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times I don't know what I'm doing or what the plan is. And I'm just like, okay, well, and then I'll step back and go, oh, that's dope. Like, oh yeah. And I'm not doing that like looking like I'm patting myself on the back. It's just like, I'm thankful that I allow myself to let it do its own thing.
Oh,
yeah.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah. So it is me, but it's not me. I'm a representative,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question. When it comes to you doing collages, has that just allowed you to just be free in so many other aspects of just your life and your art?
Yes. So, okay, I'll tell you how I started with collage. So
yes, please.
When I was much younger, I've had a job of some sort for most of my life. And my first job, when I got my check, I was like 15, 16. And I bought fashion magazines. I've always loved fashion. And this was before there were like dark-skinned women on the front cover. But so I would find images from like UK or Australia or, Vogue, Italia, any of those things, and would just rip up things that I thought was cool.
Right.
And then, before I knew it, like half of my room was covered in magazines, like the actual magazines. So I decided to condense them. I also wanted to be a fashion designer. So in my mind, I was coming up with a mood board. So it ended up being like mood boards for my this imaginary fashion collection that I never did.
They could still come about, manifested. I feel like that was manifestation in progress.
Listen, what I have, COVID has, and I mean, amongst other things, but for me, and I am not, it's not lost on me, the tragedy that COVID was for some people. For me, however, it was a wake-up call, and I'm like remembering all the things that I used to do, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gunning for it. So I am going to come up with a capsule collection of some sort in the future, for sure.
That's beautiful. Dang. No, I don't know why you just inspired me with No, that was beautiful.
Beyond beautiful. And it's interesting because it reminds me of myself too, growing up with my relationship with art in general and just creating things. And yeah, my first job, I think I was 17 in high school. And my first paycheck, I just blew it on art supplies.
There you go. Right.
I just blew it on art supplies because like that was home to me, like creating something. And it didn't have to be specific. I wasn't trying to target an audience. It was just a way of me to relieve stress or whatever it may be that I'm going through in life. Right. And so it's funny that you said like COVID. I totally agree with the whole COVID thing. Like for me personally as well, it really made me open up my eyes. Like I am capable more than just school and a job and, you know, the stereotypical things that everyone is really fighting for in life, you know?
Right.
And so it made me think about the things that I used to enjoy about art and creating things. And it forced me to go, you know what? I'm still capable of doing that right now. Like nothing is stopping me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a ripple effect. Literally inside the body, the stress levels reduced, then your hormone levels reduced, then maybe you're not as chunky in the places you don't want to be chunky anymore. Right. Then you smile more, then people are nicer to you, then your spouse or your partner is feeling you, then they are feeling better at work. You know, it's a ripple. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's our duty to find, if it's not art, you know, it's whatever, if it's sports or if it's reading, I feel like it's our duty to do it for ourselves and for others. And it ripples, you know, and it ripples to our children, you know, like we could die tomorrow, you know.
Yeah, God forbid.
Right, God forbid, but it's possible. It's possible.
It's totally possible. I mean, knock on wood, but that's the truth. Especially, you know, COVID, you could have talked to someone, and this has always been true, but it's just in your face, you know, you could die tomorrow. And I realize and hold myself to it more sternly than I have before that I'm just gonna gun for it because I don't want to die going, I should have, you know.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. That's the truth. And interesting because Deja briefly told me earlier that you have a book, a shadow workbook.
Oh yeah.
And so I was really interested.
I've literally been telling my coworkers, I told my mama, I was like, yo, we're having an amazing artist who also does shadow work books. Like, can you please tell us about your shadow work books and also your journey through shadow work?
Yes.
Okay, so Lord have mercy. So when I say that because this snowballed into, well, firstly, let me start by saying I am an artist first. I do not want to be known as like the shadow work queen.
Like, right.
Like there are true blue, you know, experts out there who, you know, like I'm not a therapist or anything of that sort. However, I do know that when I want to look into shadow work and really figure out what people were talking about, first of all, and how it can help me, what I found was that everyone was saying, oh, it's so hard. It's so taxing. It's really deep. Pardon my French, but a lot of times I heard people say, oh, girl, shadow work is going to kick your ass. You know, like, really? And I'm just, yes. And so I felt like this is not right, at least not for me. And I bet there are other people that feel this way. When I first made what I'm going to put out, and it's not a written book. Again, I am a visual artist, so I'm just going to leave that hint there.
I'm excited.
But I'm like, I don't buy it. I bet you shadow work can be fun. I bet you shadow work is enlightening. I bet you there's a way to do it where you want to continue doing it all the time. And it just hit me one day. So I made one book and then it snowballed into 7.
Oh, so, wow.
Dang. Okay.
And then funny enough, I'm with my sister. Maybe we'll talk about that at a later date, but she is phenomenal and she has helped me along the way. So what started as one simple thing blew up into like its own child or personality in person. So now I have like a website that's almost done, and now, you know, I have to get the shopping cart together, and like it's been fun.
Oh, wow.
I'm excited. I mean, it's almost done. I think it will be, I'm gonna do like a soft launch event just to get people's feedback, because, you know, if I think it's great, that's one thing, but if other people don't, then, you know, what did I do?
Right.
So I'll do like a month-long like soft launch, like, hey, try it out, tell me what you think type of deal. And then I'll probably launch the real deal if it goes well, like the end of December, top of January.
Ooh, some New Year shadow work, girls.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
excited.
I didn't think about that. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh, wow.
The girls get to put their hands in some shadow work for the new year.
So I'll send it over to you for certain, and so what I'll do, I think, is like a PDF version and then a real book version if you want it.
That's beautiful. And the fact that you've put so much time into it, and the fact that it, like you said, it grew legs of its own, and it started from 1 to 7. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't even know what to say.
Again, with my sister, we were just shooting the breeze, and she showed me something, and I was like, wow. Like, my mother did not teach us to come half-stepping, so I just have to like go balls to the wall.
There you go. Yup.
Like, if I'm gonna have my face and my name on it, like, it needs to, at least to me, be the best I think it can be. So I didn't want to, I like doing things fast and quick, but this required me to slow down and give it its, you know, time and attention. So
right. Yeah. So for the audience that don't know what shadow work is, could you just kind of briefly explain to people that have never heard or, you know anything about it?
Yes, thank you. So shadow work is a form of therapy, but it is essentially taking a really hard, honest approach at you kind of like relive areas that maybe didn't feel so good the first time around. And so you're kind of like a detective. You're investigating, you know, okay, well, where did you go wrong, so to speak? So it is a method for rediscovering, where you kind of figure out, for example, why don't I like the color red? You know, and you may sit and think about it, and then remember that when you were 5 years old, a boy, I don't know, drew red marker on your cheeks and everybody laughed, you know, and you may not put those two things together, but they still, here you are, an adult, and you're still holding on to it and don't like the color red. Right. You know, so the whole point is to excavate interesting things that you may not have linked, deal with it, let it go, and you're lighter and brighter and freer.
And have you yourself done some shadow work individually, personally? You still continue? Yeah.
It doesn't stop, in my opinion.
Yeah, I noticed too, like, because I, again, during COVID, stumbled upon that and did my brief research, and, you know, just reading other people's experience and their journey as well, watching YouTube videos and all that, and it drew me in, and I to this day it's still part of the journey. Like you said, as you grow, it just doesn't, you know, all your problems don't disappear. I've learned, you know, it's a journey. As you grow, it also helps you kind of smoothly transition into whatever next journey you're going to go into in life. So I totally agree.
And I think it helps you be a little bit more compassionate to yourself, a little bit softer. You know, I find myself going like chill, like relax. It's fine.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Whereas in the past, you know, I've like worked myself into a frothy tizzy trying to like convince myself of things that weren't good for me or true or necessary, you know?
Yeah, it forces you to really be true to yourself and self-reflection is beyond important when it comes to growing as an individual.
And on the topic,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, on the topic of self-reflection, when you're self-reflecting so much, I find it very important to be surrounded by people who also value self-reflection, not only noticing it in you, but also in themselves. So how important has community been in your journey? And have you been able to find people that also work on themselves and that appreciate you for working on yourself?
Yes, and yes. And initially, I have always been like a loner since childhood.
Me too.
And
I think all three of us.
And I actually value silence. Like I sometimes will just have a conversation with someone, and then there's that awkward feeling, but I just ride in that. Like, I love it. I don't mind that at all.
Me and you, okay, yes, I knew I connected with you somehow. I'm sorry, keep going, because I feel that.
So that being said, being alone has never been a scary thing for me. I'm on the opposite end of things, where I am learning how much how beneficial it is to have a community and or have like a tribe, so that it's just healthy. And I'm more recently learning that, and the evidence is having this conversation with you two. I started really taking Twitter seriously maybe like 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago, something like that. And the people I have met, now granted, they're not necessarily in person, but it's perfect for me. There are people I would not have met otherwise. It also has softened me up and opened me up to people that I sit next to day in and day out. And they see different sides of me. Like I said, I had this vision board party, and people didn't necessarily know that about me. And now they're like, oh, I would love to come, or I used to do this when I was younger. And it's like, oh, really? And you just open up a little bit, and you're a little bit more accessible in a healthy way to other people. So I'm digging it. I'm loving it. Connection really is important. I did not always know that. I felt like that's for other people, not for me.
Yes. No, but for real.
I am this brooding, loner, and this is my emo style. It's like, nah, player, like, don't play yourself. You need people, and you need, for me, I need women as well. Black and brown women are very important to me, and having that in my life is important too.
I literally love the fact that you said that, because first off, the taking Twitter seriously part, yes. When I got, because I've been in several different communities across several different platforms. I've been in the cannabis community. I've been in the natural hair community. I've been in the, what else? I can't even think right now because it's been too many, but this is one where I've actually showed up to chats, one where I've actually said, hello, good morning, let's speak like this, let's do this. And where I've actually been like, I connect with these people. Like, there's something about it and I don't know what it is. So you're right. There is a certain level to when you take yourself seriously online, it opens you up to find deeper connections with people that you wouldn't have necessarily met in any other way. But then, just like you said, it allows you in your real life to just be more open and just be more comfortable with yourself. Because even people at work are like, wow, Day, you're smiling more, you're singing. Right. Like I walked into the dressing room this morning and I was singing. It's like, I never go into work singing, like, what the hell? But the community and the people that I've surrounded myself with, it's like, I just feel so happy.
Right. And that's, again, that's contagious. I mean, that is a virus I could get down with,
That's my kind of virus. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
Happiness 2021, 22, honey. Whew. So I wanted to ask you, so I discovered you, speaking of community, in the NFT space. What necessarily led you to the NFT space?
So one of the things that I do to keep myself on point is I like to find like interesting affirmations on YouTube. Now, I'm not talking about the close your eyes, think of a light white, you know, I'm not talking about that. And that's why it takes me a while to find what I'm looking for, because I need, I mean, I have, my roots are very much West Indian, West African, Caribbean in nature. You know, I need drums, I need beat, I need staccato, yes. I need to feel it, you know, and I don't be feeling when a woman is going like, look into the light, you know, like I don't feel that.
Yes.
But I did find there is this thing, and it's kind of like hip hop meets affirmation, sort of kind of. Anyway, there's a line in one of them that I found, and he says, when everyone is digging for gold, I'm selling the shovels.
Oh,
and so I had listened to, I found this maybe like 2 years ago. And that's how I feel about NFT. I'm not certain how I'm going to assert myself in the community other than having conversations and just meeting chill people, creative people, nerdy people, my people, you know.
Facts.
But I have an entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm just trying to figure out what is my shovel, you know.
Wow, that's a really good quote. I've never heard it, but I'm so inspired just by hearing it.
Listen, and you know what? I look for it because I mean, I don't buy YouTube, but I use it. And I looked for it maybe 3-4 weeks ago because I love it and the beat is dope. And they took it down.
Oh,
so I'm like, oh man.
You're kidding. You can't find it anywhere online?
I won't say anywhere. It was just my go-to on YouTube. It was not where I left it.
Right.
Damn.
They done relocated. They done packed up and moved out.
Right. So I don't know if they only make it for purchase now. I don't know if someone ratted them out and YouTube took them down. I don't know. I'm making that up.
Right? Just starting drama in your head. Sometimes that's what you gotta do to make the story make sense. It was the damn government. We dealing with it.
Right. But yeah, that's where I am right now. I don't have the answer for that. I am super curious. So that always works. Well, it's working in my favor thus far. I think where I feel I'm going to go, ironically, is, well, it's not ironic because it kind of falls back into my whole sovereignty goal for myself and everyone else is, so the other day I tweeted, or maybe it was yesterday, all the days are running together.
Yep.
Either way, I said something along the lines of, I don't want Web3 to be another freaking Instagram. I just don't. And I don't want to be on, I mean, I want it to be mutually beneficial if it's not mine. So if I'm on someone else's platform, yes, you know, I will be on there and you'll have my energy and attention in that way. And sure, I'll watch the ad because that's the exchange, right? But what do I get out of it? So I either want to have my own platform and offer things that way, or I want to develop something so that alternative is possible, because I think we're already starting to get away from, I feel like there's a lot of similarity from Web3 to Web 2. And I know it's early, but I just feel it in my bones that like we could go sideways really fast.
Exactly.
And do the same thing we've been doing. I don't like that.
Right. We gonna need a Web 3.2.
Right. Yeah.
With the way some people gonna mess it up. But no, that's for real, especially when you look at the different blockchains and how the art varies between them, and like how still there's platforms trying to combine all the blockchains, make it easier, make it smoother. But then like there's literally so much. And that's another thing for our listeners. Lily and I are going to break down Genesis pieces, Web 2, Web 3, and clean minting in the next full NFT episode.
Oh, I will be there for sure.
Oh, heck yeah. Honestly, thank you for saying that, because I'm thinking of doing like a round table with a couple of the people that we're in a group with, and just having just a bunch of us on a Zoom. I'm going to have to finally upgrade to pro so that we can have a little longer than 45 minutes, you know, but have just a real good, deep conversation, and maybe even make it a two-parter if we have to, because there's so much knowledge that gets passed up because people just aren't tapped in, you know?
You know, I have to, first of all, whatever you decide to do, I'm with it.
You're involved immediately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about, I will support if that means me physically, or, you know, lending my voice in the actual panel. Sure. If it's me listening, sure. I will say I have learned a lot from one gentleman in particular. Yes. Good Lord.
Good looking. He's the next guest I want to have. He's sweet.
So anyone out there not familiar, get familiar with Cease. He is also an artist in his own right. I told him, you know, I feel like his prints or his patterns look like fabric to me, like Versace, but on another level to me.
I need to check out his work.
Oh my goodness. Like,
I just be taking in his information, and like, you know, I haven't even looked at, and I feel terrible for that. So thank you for letting me know.
No, look at his work. And the thing is, what I also love about him is I saw someone, I guess, retweeted his work, but didn't immediately like have his name or something like that happen. And I knew it was his work straight up. Like, I didn't need to be told it was Cease's work. I could just, his style is very arresting and recognizable.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's all the things in that regard.
No, literally, I love that. And thank you for bringing him up, because it's going to be one of the future guests. But we are running out of time. Like I said, excuse me, I'm coughing over here. I do not know why. But like I said, your girl does not have the pro plan, so we only got a couple minutes to wrap it. You know, we still trying to get sponsored over here, okay? We trying to get our NFTs on the blockchain, and maybe we can get some ETH, okay? But please, Art, if you could let our listeners know where they could find you, your website, your handles, let them know.
Yeah, so I think I'm more active on on Twitter. Long story short, it's Art Acrobat everything. So ARTACROB like boy, AT like Tom. So that means Twitter, that means my Gmail, that means Instagram, that means TikTok, like all of the things. My website is almost done. So again, just start at one of the social medias and find your way around the space.
Boom. That was beautiful advice. I want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for offering your voice. Thank you for informing our listeners, and honestly informing us, because I love to learn, you know, and you taught me so much just in this 45 minutes, you know?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm still sweating, but I appreciate it.
Thank you guys, everybody, for listening. We hope that you guys enjoyed Art Acrobat, and we hope that you guys have enjoyed our creative artsy friends. Okay, it was a stormy night, you know, the kind where the lightning strikes. And I was hanging out with those my artsy friends. Ooh, you. Girl, that song hits different now that I have some artsy friends, honey. But thank y'all so much. Tune in next week. Black at ya. Bye.
Bye.